We have a tradition of canceling a Halloween project and then making it next year. So this year we're making last year's canceled project, which is Nightmare Moon / Princess Luna from My Little Pony. My Little Pony, it's for Halloween. Oh, and it's that huge Halloween collab that we always do with friends. Because friendship is magic. Both Nightmare Moon and Princess Luna have a wavy mane, and that's why I'm going to try a new technique of curling the hair. But first, we need a wig cap. I made it from glue and stretchy fabric, and I have to match the color to the hair that I'm going to use. I don't know why this green is the only fabric I have in the workshop, and we never do green hair. Except Beetlejuice, which we made last spooky season, and I think that's why the green fabric is even here. But I managed to cover that color with a dark warm blue and start gluing the wefts. I'm going to curl the hair horizontally this time, trapping wet hair between 2 plastic straws, and that will give me 2 waves, and then repeat and repeat. I don't know how to explain this better, so please stop scrolling on your phone and see how I do it, okay? So I remember I tried this technique in 2019 when we were making the pinup girl Regina? I don't remember. But I failed. Please don't watch that video. It's so old and bad. We were learning, okay? But now, on a bigger doll and with 6 more years of experience, I hope I can make it. To set the curls, I'm pouring hot water first and then quickly cool it with icy cold water. And ice cubes, because it didn't want to go in the bowl. And when our first layer of waves is drying, I can already prepare the sculpt for the parting. I chose a side part because I think that's what's going on here, right? Then it all had to dry like one whole day. So I came back the next day, painted the paper mache parting bumps, and I can glue the rest of the hair. I wanted to add a bit of that purple magical shine to her hair and added 2 shades of purple in the front. I kind of wish I added it also to the other side, but she already has a side part, so she's not symmetrical anymore, so maybe whatever. Time to push the parting wefts into the crevice between the bumps, which usually gives me a nice and clean anime-style parting. The lower layer of hair I have split into 3 parts, 2 at the sides and 1 in the back, and the gap between them it's pretty visible. So for the upper layer, I added 1 more panel so that the hair from the top can cover the unwanted gap. The hair, freshly out of my contraption, is too wavy now, so I'm stretching it a bit. There was too much hair in the front and they were covering her face, so I cut the front strands and made them into bangs, which I think suits her little curl on the forehead. The 2 back panels perfectly match together and it covers all the weird gaps from the layer below, just like I planned. And I'm not exactly proud of the bangs, but the waves turned out so gorgeous. This video is sponsored by Life Makeover, and I'm super excited that they're back. This is one of my favorite fashion games because the outfit designs in Life Makeover are just amazing. Every time I open this game, I end up gasping at the fabrics, the shimmer, the details. It's like digital haute couture. Like for real, can we make one of the outfits, please? But there's so much more to it than fashion. You can actually build your dream home from scratch, completely grid-free. Stack furniture, float it, recolor every piece, and even choose the lighting and the weather. It's the perfect cozy setup if you love decorating and tiny details. And if you're like me and you can't have pets in real life, you can make your dreams come true through Life Makeover. You can adopt and customize your own cats and dogs. Their fur looks so soft and realistic, and every pet is unique thanks to the wild genetics system. You can play with your pet, feed them, and capture adorable photos together. The animations and fur textures are next level. It's basically the ultimate cute pet simulator built into a fashion game. Right now there's also a limited time event with a brand new 6-star outfit, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, can we talk about the trims, the ruffles, embroidery, and just the sheer beauty of this? And we had a peek at a collaboration event between Life Makeover and Cardcaptor Sakura, which is one of Alex's favorite anime. So we're very much looking forward to the global launch of this event and can't wait to play it. Whether you prefer gaming on your phone or decorating on a big PC screen, Life Makeover looks gorgeous either way, and your progress is synced across platforms. So, if you love fashion, decorating, and adorable pets, don't wait. Click the link in the description to download Life Makeover, join the event, and start creating your own virtual dream world. A princess needs a gown, and I don't want to do another ball gown for now. So let's think about what we can do for a sleek and kind of sexy dress.
For her dress, I want to use velvet. Velvet looks gorgeous, feels luxurious, and is an absolute menace to sew with. So here's what we need to look out for. 1. Velvet has a pile, which are these small little fibers that give it that plush texture. Depending on the direction of these fluffs, the light scatters differently, so it's important that when we cut out the pieces, they aren't twisted or upside down in relation to each other. Otherwise, it will look weird, as the shadows are not gonna match. It's kinda like a bad Photoshop job, you know? Thankfully, the solution to this problem is easy. Buy more fabric and don't be an idiot while cutting it. It's tempting to nest your pieces to save as much fabric as possible, but here we need to sacrifice the cost for the looks. 2. You can't iron velvet. Velvet's pile crushes under heat and pressure and leaves a forever mark, which, due to the pile that changes light scattering property, will look kinda defective. We could destroy the fabric in a shape that we like to create additional detail. Alex and I actually had velvet dresses like this when we were kids, so that's where I got the idea. Unfortunately, when I tested this on the final fabric, anywhere where the heat was close to the fabric it showed, even when it was not pressed, so I had to scrap this idea. I am going to add an embroidered design though. We had this concept for Nightmare Moon since last year's Halloween.
Princess Luna / Nightmare Moon.
And if we did it last year, I would have had to either not use velvet to be able to add the design from heat transfer vinyl or have Alex paint it, or scrap the design altogether if I wanted velvet. So I think it's perfect that now we have our Barrette B79 and we can have the best of both worlds, have the design embroidered onto velvet. As I mentioned, pressure alone will crush the pile, so to embroider this, I didn't really hoop it, as the design is only a part of this very long metal piece, and I don't want to crease across it. To get around this, I hooped on some stabilizer and then basted the velvet onto it with a bit of spray adhesive. By the way, when you cut velvet, it leaves annoying fluffs everywhere, and if the fluff happens to be dark, it makes everything look dirty. So there was a lot of lint rolling in this episode. Problem 3 is that most velvets are knit-based, so on top of being moody, they're stretchy, which often means uneven seams, puckering, and skipped stitches. I added a bit of stick-on stabilizer onto the embroidered piece, because in hindsight, I should have added a more sturdy layer to the embroidery due to the stretchiness of the fabric. To avoid skipped stitches, I'll use a proper needle. The ones that should work will be labeled ballpoint, jersey, or stretch. The solution to the other issues is feed control. My Barrette B79 has a dual feed system. Basically, 2 layers are feeding evenly from both sides. If I didn't have that, like on my previous machine, I'd use a walking foot. These days you can find one as an extra attachment to every machine, and I definitely recommend it for knits. The seams on this dress are pretty long, so I am making sure to pin them so that I don't stretch one of the layers on accident and have puckering or excess material. Another problem is that velvet is thick. She's thick. When you try to fold the edges under or fully line it, it bulks up and ruins the drape. So instead, I'll finish the edges cleanly by cutting the velvet layer without seam allowance and add the lining by hand. I prepared the lining ahead of time so that Alex could airbrush a gradient, as the dress is pretty open in the front, so the inside of the back of the dress will be visible, and we wanted it to have a nice detail. Plus, all of the best Enchanterium designs have a gradient somewhere, and we can't apply the gradient to velvet with paint, so it had to go on the lining. When the paint dried, I gave it a press and folded the hems under. I had to give it to Alex with the back seam completed so that she could paint it all in one piece, but also unsewn somewhere, so I had to do a little bit of shuffling around and some seam ripping before I could put the 2 layers together. I also had to trim the water-soluble thing because it was peeking out and didn't look good. I carefully pinned the layers together multiple times because something just wasn't sitting right. I think the reason for it was that the lining has a woven fabric and the outside was a knit. I ripped the back seam of the velvet layer and figured out that I could persuade the fabric to look the way I wanted with a wire in the hems, so I added it to the lining layer. I actually did a pretty bad job with that the first time. So the second time, I folded the seam allowance under and it seemed to secure the wire much better. It really did take forever though, on top of the first one that also took forever. Then I attached the layers together, which took another forever. I finished the back with a hand stitch and added some hook and eye closures, making sure I leave a gap for the stand. And the dress is ready to be equipped with some armor.
I had two ideas for a face for her. One is a laughing maniac, which would suit Nightmare Moon. And the other is a sassy, half-closed eye look, which is Luna's vibe. Barb liked this one, so let's make her. First, we need the right color. Matching the skin tone was not too difficult this time, and I went straight to painting with an airbrush without the first color test layer. After around 7 layers of paint and very dirty fingers, I can spray her with 2 coats of Mr. Super Clear for a nice paper-like texture and start drawing. I'm sketching with white watercolor pencil, removing mistakes with water if needed. But it's still not enough, so I'm going over the sketch with white vinyl paint. I love the consistency and opaqueness of these vinyl paints. I'm adding sparkles in the corners of the eyes, and then I thought, why not add more? She can look like the night sky with white freckles. And after another spray of sealant, I can start adding colors. I'm adding an ultramarine blue as an eyeshadow, and that's the moment when I remembered I don't like this color at all. That's why we never use it in our projects, and because of that, I have no idea how to make it look nice with other colors. I'm trying to figure out if she would have blue eyebrows or black eyebrows. And then a stroke of genius. I like warm colors, so let's fix the eyeshadow with more purple. And this little change made such a difference that I started to like how she looks. Or maybe because I like gradients, I don't know. Now let's paint the lashes. I don't have many occasions to paint light eyelashes, and I chose light blue and white. I'm making them point downward for a dreamy look, or a Jessica Rabbit sexy look. Here you can see me changing the brows color again and adding white to the inner side, and then a second later they have reversed colors with white on the outside. Well, sometimes we have to try a few things to choose the best option. I'm painting the lips, and they also are going to get that blue to purple gradient treatment soon. But now let's make the eyes. I designed, modeled and 3D printed, Barb 3D printed these eyes, and I'm filling all the crevices with teal and mint acrylic paints. I couldn't decide if I want round pupils of Princess Luna or Nightmare Moon's slit pupils, so I sculpted both of them at the same time in the same place. After painting, I put a layer of UV resin, then rubbing an iridescent powder into it and covering the iris with another layer of resin. And this is how she looks. She looks gorgeous. I love the fluffy lashes and the shiny eyes. She just turned out like I imagined her.
My 2025 wishlist had 3 machines: embroidery machine, 3D scanner, and a CNC. Alex categorically forbade me to have a CNC. We received an embroidery machine from Viking Polska, and now we also have a 3D scanner sent to us by RevoPoint. Let's unbox it. Before Alex can sculpt the armor, I want to quickly show you how I made the reference models by scanning them with the RevoPoint Miracle 3D scanner.
This is for our Greek guys collection.
Because it's way simpler than I expected, especially compared to my old method, which you could see in Bloom's video, taking hundreds of photos by hand and praying the janky software stitches them right, which it never does, the first time at least. The Miracle is a small box, just a little bigger than a phone, but packed with lots of specialty cameras. Mine came with this super handy turntable, which keeps the object centered and rotates it so I can focus on framing and distance. On the screen, you get a live preview from all 3 types of cameras and a bar that shows whether you're close enough or too far away from the object that you're scanning. Your job is to stay in the excellent range and make sure you capture every angle of your object, which the turntable does most of that work. When you're done, you can clean up the mesh on the scanner, but I prefer the RevoPoint Scan app on desktop. Since I moved a little too fast at the end of the scan, I just went in and deleted those bad frames manually, and then the program basically does the rest for you. You fuse the points, clean it up, fill the holes, and you can export it. And the best part is that the model is already true to scale, which blows my mind, because when I scanned the Dolphy for Bloom, I had to resize everything by checking with calipers and then going back to the model and then checking back and printing one and then measuring with tape, so this was super handy. In total, I scanned the body, an arm, and a leg so Alex could make all of the armor pieces in Blender.
Usually, the most time-consuming part of doll customizing for me is wig making, but this time it was 3D sculpting and armor. Okay, so I'm not a professional at this, but I try my best. As a test piece, of course, I took the face, the hardest part, and it was hard. But after I practiced a bit on some other parts and established a technique, it wasn't that bad. So I'm going to show you how I sculpted the arm pieces. I trace one side of my sketch and mirror it to have a symmetrical piece. Export it in SVG, SVG, and import it into Blender. Then I turn it into a mesh and remove all the faces because Blender doesn't really get it right. Then checking for multiplied vertices and extruding the shape to desired thickness, and of course, fill the front and back with a face. And because I am team sculpting, not proper engineering type of modeling, I remesh it to have a smooth texture to work with. With the mirror function on, I can start sculpting. I add facets and use masking to do it, so I don't ruin everything around. So we have a basic shape, now it's the fun part. Bending around the arm with a modifier and then painting a mask of what I want to be moved inside. I reverse the mask and I can use the grab brush to push the light parts inside. And voila! We have a nice shape with some details. Now I add some modifications like smoothing some of the parts and sharpening some of the edges, remeshing it a few times for different reasons, and elongating the whole thing. And I was of course checking from time to time if my armor doesn't touch the 3D scanned body parts. And with this method, or something similar at least, I made the forearm covers, a mask inspired by Nightmare's helmet, a chest piece and neck piece, something that will go on her hips, top part of the boots, and then the foot part of the boot, which I didn't sculpt from scratch but modified a Millennium Boots model available for free on Smartdoll website. Then it's time for printing, cleaning, curing, and spray painting. I know you shouldn't mix resin-based spray paint with acrylics, but I couldn't leave it so flat like this, so I went into every hole and coated it 3 times with a bit darker silver paint. And while I'm doing that,
let's thank our patrons, our Lost Sisters, Stephanie Deer, Adia Bear, Barb from the Future, and Red X, and our cousin Patreons Hilary Solomon, Megan Pierce, Asha Hasuna, Zari, Reese's Cup, Willa Vanilla, Hope Zed, North Soul, Laurenth, Sofa Cushion, Angel Silver Rose, Vibrant Sprite, Malachite, Alienite, Whimsy, Whitetails, Hannah, Kito Kato, Krista Hopper, Doll Dragon, Eden Cassidy, Leon Justings, DM Bacayrona Smith, Melissa Novoa, Rinth, Fan of TA, Ashley, Mikey Lemon, Andrea Selector Kane, Brielty, The Barbie Witch, Stephanie, Carajo, Jane Beck, Caribou, Ninja Star Dazino, and last but not least, Catherine Nodden. Thanks, guys!
I added a few chains to the chest armor piece with resin, and I would like them to connect also to the hip covers, but in an easy way to take off them later when we undress her eventually. So I'm attaching it on a small blob of blue tack. The mask, the horn, the hip armor, and the ears are attached by magnets, also for an easy removal. And I thought that's it, but I missed something on her arms, and I attached 2 more chains, this time on the collar piece, with resin. And the last craft of the day is to make wings, because she's an alicorn, and that means she has both horn and wings. Barb loves machines, that's why she did all the seer magic and cut my wings design from craft foam. I'm adding a bit of texture to the feathers and painting them black and dark blue. I thought I'll use an airbrush, but it was much faster to just paint it with a normal brush and like thick paint. I'm gluing the tiers from both sides, trying to match the back part with the front part as much as possible. I just noticed that it's not the right shade of blue, so dry brushed the feathers with purple, but to leave the crevices still blue so that there is like a variation of color. I never know what to do with the magnet part, and I glued the weird shape to the back so the magnet can lay on something, and then I glued some more craft foam on top to secure the magnet inside. There's no escape. And as a last detail, I'm adding some sparkly rhinestones for a magical starry night look. And now she can fly to the moon and back.
And this is how she turned out. I love how the black navy skin tone contrasts with the silver details of the armor. I know that painting this kind of skin can be tricky, but Alex absolutely nailed the face up. As for me, hopefully you've learned a little bit about velvet, and even though it can be challenging, it totally can be manageable with the right prep, so I hope you give it a go next time. I'm so happy we finally got to finish this project after shelving it last Halloween, and we can't wait to make more My Little Pony dolls soon. Of course, this video is part of our big annual Halloween collab, so please check out all of the amazing creators that took part this year. Valkyrie's World, I Could Do That DIY, Jackie O, Steffu Doll, H. Ali Crafts, Delightful, Hexchen, and Electric Bunny VT. Make sure to follow us on Instagram for some sneak peeks and subscribe for future videos. Have an enchanted day, and we'll see you next time.